free sewing patterns are like the backbone of the sewing community. In this video, I want to share 15 free sewing patterns with you that I 100% would recommend you try out, as I most certainly will. But for now, let's get into the patterns. I will start with the smaller items and work my way up to the bigger ones. First up, we've got the Helen Castillo corset top. It's a beautiful bodice with a lacer back and it's super versatile. You could super easily just add a circle skirt to it and you've got a dreamy dress. You could totally also add off-the-shoulder sleeves or normal sleeves to make it a long sleeve top. It's also something that you could make out of scraps from a previous project, as you won't need that much fabric, and just overall it's a very dreamy, amazing top and I totally recommend you try it. Next up is the Parker Corset. Now I actually did a little survey on this channel to check if you guys are over the corset trend yet, and most of you aren't, and I certainly am not. So this pattern is actually amazing for any corset lover. It is again quite a versatile pattern, as you could crop the corset to make it more of a bustier sort of look. You can add a skirt to it, same again. You could also add sleeves, of course. You could make a ball gown out of it if you add a long skirt to it, maybe some straps to hold up the weight of the gown. But I just love this pattern. Once again, this is one I will 100% be testing out and see where it takes me. Next, we've got the Bando Tee. Now this is just a generic t-shirt, but I think it is actually an essential in anyone's wardrobe, and I think it's really nice to have a DIY t-shirt. So this is a great pattern to be using to just build up your DIY wardrobe. You could crop the bottom, you could extend the sleeves to have a long sleeve top, you could add a turtleneck if you wanted to, you could extend the length of the overall t-shirt and make it a t-shirt dress, which I think are super cute for summer. There's so many ways you can make this your own, and I think this is a great pattern even for beginners as well, to get started and yeah, get great results straight away. The next pattern is the Saffron Ensemble. It's basically a pyjama, and what I'm planning to use for this is old sateen pillowcases that I've got lying around at home. Add some lace and I'll be feeling fabulous going to bed in this. Again, you could alter it to fit your needs. So for example, if it's cold where you are, you might want to extend the length of the shorts to make it long bottoms, and for the top you could again crop it or make it longer to make it into a little slip dress, like a night dress. I had a DIY pyjama set on my list for a long time, and this is exactly what I was after, and I'm sure I can't be the only one. Now moving into the long sleeve territory, we've got the Avens Bodysuit. When I saw this pattern, I knew straight away I gotta have this, because it's got a turtleneck and it's got a one sleeve sort of thing going on, and I just think it looks so elegant, so nice and stylish. One thing I will say is I'm not a big fan of bodysuits as such, so I would probably just make it a top, so just kind of like crop the bottom off, but that's just my personal preference. Those patterns are just really versatile though, so you can do with them whatever you wish. I love it. I 100% am going to be sewing this. The next pattern is the Almond Bodysuit. When I saw this pattern, I was like, this is my dreams come true. This is right up my street. I love the little cutout, I love the turtleneck and the overlaying pieces. I've got no words. 100% am I going to be sewing this pattern? Yes, for sure. Definitely. It actually reminds me a little bit of my vintage dream top that I made in another video. Again, it is a bodysuit, so I will likely cut off the part that makes it a bodysuit and just turn it into a top. I even think what would be really nice is to use different fabrics for the different layers of the top and make it look like dimensional. It's quite a versatile pattern as well, because of course with the sleeves you could make it sleeveless so that you've just kind of got like this turtleneck tank top, or you could turn it into a t-shirt, you can crop it. But I personally think this is screaming for long sleeves. It's screaming for just lovely fabric with like either a nice print or something like that. 100% I'm going to be sewing this, and I of course will be sharing my results on this channel. We're now moving into the trouser pants section. Next up are the Aster Pants. They are these palazzo trousers, I don't know how to pronounce it, but basically the vintage trousers that back in the days everyone was wearing. They kind of look like a skirt from afar because they're so flowy and wide and ruffled and ruched in, but they are trousers, which I love that. I love skirts, don't get me wrong, but I just love the security that trousers give me. So trousers that look like a skirt, Perfect. And one alteration that would be quite cool with this pattern is to make them short so that you actually have got shorts that look a bit like a mini skirt, but they're shorts. I love that. This pattern is actually a great pattern for anyone that is a bit unsure about sewing pants. So if you've never sewed trousers before, this is a great starting point. Since they are so flowy, they are very forgiving. You could totally use the Aster Pant as like your first trouser project. The next trouser pattern that I came across are the Aster Pants. Now they are similar to the Ren jeans, basically a bit of a flare trouser. And depending on what sort of pockets and style you want to go for, you might want to go for the Ren jeans or the Aster Pants. But I just think the Aster Pants look super 70s. I don't know, I'm actually not good with the decades, but I think they look 70s, and I would love them in like a bold color. I really like the patch pockets on that pattern. I love that style so much. You could totally remove it though if you want to have more of a classic style. You could also turn this pattern into shorts, of course. Like with every pair of trouser, you could just crop the pattern and then you've got shorts. So again, a super versatile pattern. Now venturing into the dress or mixed section where we've got a couple of different things going on. The first item for this section is the Callisia Cover-Up, which is basically a beach cover-up, but I think it should totally be a dress. I don't want to just be covered up in it to go to the beach. I want to be covered up in it to just walk around. I think it's really stunning. I love the sleeves, how they cinch in and go back out again. I think it's such a nice dress. You could even make it a top, actually, I'm just realizing. So if like the skirt part of it is not for you, you could make it into a wrap top or just a normal top. I think it's a really beautiful dress, and I am going to somehow be incorporating it into my wardrobe. Next up, we've got the Setaria Dress. This is basically a blazer dress. You could totally wear it as a normal blazer as well. So the garment itself, I think, is super versatile, as you can wear it with pants or without pants. You can wear it open or closed. And I think a DIY blazer is quite a cool thing to do. I imagine it being quite difficult, so it's definitely something for a sewing beginner. But if you are quite advanced with your sewing and you'd like a new blazer, certainly give this a try. One thing I think would be quite cool with this pattern is if you cropped it so that you've got kind of like a crop blazer, and if you've got like a really nice bold color or even a pattern, I think that could look pretty sweet. Now we've got the Trillium Ensemble. God, I'm struggling with that, but it's such a gorgeous set. 100% am I going to be trying this out. It looks like a bit of a shacket and a short set. I was so happy to have come across this, which is why I wanted to share it with you. If you're not so keen on one of the pieces, you could always just do one of them. You could always make the jacket a bit longer instead of this quite cropped style. You could make the trousers longer or shorter. You could turn it into a skirt. There's lots of things you could do with this, and I think it's a stunning style. Next up, we've got the Fleur Robe. Now this is a great pattern because my best friend's cat is called Fleur, so what have you got to lose, really? What can go wrong? But anyways, it's a robe, but I actually would probably turn it into a bit of like a cardigan or coat sort of thing, especially for spring when we're looking for a cover-up that is not too heavy but still kind of like keeping us a bit warm. So if you're using heavier fabric for this, I think it would make a great coat. Or a good cardigan for indoors if you're using like a very fluffy sort of material. This pattern has got so much potential because you don't have to look at it as like a robe sort of thing. You could always use it for lots of different things. You could turn it into a dressing gown if you wanted to. You could turn it into a coat. There's so many things you can do with this. So the sky is the limit, and I'm definitely going to be trying this pattern out. And then we've got the Calla Coat. Now this is a really nice coat for the transition between winter to spring or from autumn to winter, because it is a coat that is a bit lighter, I would say. These sorts of coats never keep me too warm, that's why I'm saying that, but if you're using like a really nice fabric, they might do, I don't know. But I think it's a great coat, and you could always just turn it into something else as well. You could turn it into a bit of like a cardigan situation, a blazer situation. And for those of you that are a little more advanced, I'm sure you can totally turn this into a really nice coat. There are two more that I want to share with you that are not from Mood, because they are actually from myself. They are the first ever patterns that I created. They are free of charge, of course, and they are not graded for different sizes. There are, however, tutorial videos going along with them, so I hope that you can maybe make some use out of that. And that's first off the DIY wrap cardigan that you could totally turn into a coat if you wanted to. You could also turn it into a waistcoat sort of thing, so quite versatile as well. It does come only in one size, but it is quite an oversized fit, so I do think it fits a range of sizes, but maybe judge for yourself and check it out. And then on the other hand, we've got my Wideleg Jogger video, which unfortunately only comes in one size as well. I can, however, show you how to adjust the patterns to fit your own size, which I do in my DIY tutorial that goes along with that pattern. So feel free to check those 2 bonus patterns out, which in total makes 15 sewing patterns. Thank you so much for watching, and if you'd like to stick around to maybe see some of these garments come to life or see any other sewing related content that I produce, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.